Starting up the webinar for Facebook. We're almost there.
Setting up your webinar.
It's coming.
Technology. Done. Redirecting to Facebook Live. So let's just take a look here to make sure we're live.
Apparently, we're streaming live on Facebook.
I think.
Yes, it says that we're live.
Yes, the live has happened.
Sweet Lord.
Wow. How amazing.
We've made it.
Now let's come back here so we can see you. And then I'll monitor this here. But
we're
took
on?
3 times, as you said, on the 3rd of the 3rd month.
Oh.
This is the beginning of a cosmic portal today. It's really, really powerful. So it's not surprising that it took just a little bit, just a little bit of effort to get in.
Yes.
Because what we're about to do, may the Lord make us truly thankful, is really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this is a cosmic portal. And the day, shall I just go into it?
Well, let's first of all, let's just say this is Stewart Pearce.
Oh, yeah.
Our beautiful friend.
Billy loves to introduce.
We have to introduce people.
We have to start
it's very
off.
important. We have Tina Marie over here.
So delighted to be here, up and running. Sorry for the delay. We've had some tech issues.
Yeah.
I got worried when you first started talking that you were muted again. And I'm like, oh no, can they hear us? So hopefully everybody can hear us okay.
Yes, people message you so that we can see, is everybody hearing okay?
Yeah, so Kat, I see that you're on. Can you let us know that you can hear us and see us since we had some issues? We're getting some hearts, so I think we're good.
Okay.
And we're good.
Yes.
And the dear Billy.
Oh, he's had a flu.
I've had a little flu, a bout with the flu.
It sounded from what Tina was saying to be really quite pernicious.
Yeah, well, it
hit him
I
hard.
usually get it hard, and then after that, it usually starts to get better. So I'm starting to get better. I feel.
So are you okay?
I'm okay now. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'm on the road to recovery.
I mean, from here, you look absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that, and that's half the battle. Looking fantastic is half the battle. And talking to this handsome gentleman, I get the vibes, and I'm feeling that healing energy come right through me.
Oh my God, I'm blushing. I'm blushing.
This is I love it.
I'm blushing.
Closing doors, phones ringing.
Closed.
But the portal, tell us about.
So, welcome everybody.
Yes.
And how wonderful it is to talk to my 2 dear friends, Tina Marie and Billy.
Absolutely, likewise.
I'm very excited because I, arrived in New York City very late on Friday evening and worked all day yesterday. And today is a day of wonderful leisure in this city. And of course, as I look out of my hotel window in Midtown Manhattan, I'm no longer looking at white flurries of snow. I'm looking at a clear, crisp, high pressure day. So thank you, because I want to go walk about. Yes, so being in this city is very exciting for me at this time because of this very acute astrological portal that is opening and how it configures with the 3 of us. So, 3333.
Yeah.
And the 3s are mounting. And I was talking earlier about March 3rd, 6th, and 9th. And what's happening is this very unique configuration. In simplicity, it's to do with the Sun and Mars and Mercury coming into this holy alliance. I don't believe that there's any form of diametric opposition. I believe that it's a very unique configuration. Mm. And so we're talking about the central sun that lights the whole of our consciousness. Mm. With Mars, the warrior planet that provides us with determination and bravery and courage, steadfastness and staying power, or conflict. There's a positive vibration because obviously we live duality here. And Mercury, and being the captain of communications, I'm always really pleased when Mercury is around. So as a result of this, and I'm told, and I hope my figures are accurate, but I'm told that this is the first time that something like this has happened in probably between 650 and 750 years on planet Earth.
Amazing.
So what it signals are these really powerful rays coming from the sun, coming from the galactic heart, and pouring into planet Earth to awaken a series of portals. And one of them just happens to be in this great city of New York.
Wow, beautiful.
And is actually in ground zero.
Wow.
So that's a huge portal for love and peace. Of course, we saw how it was excavated in an horrific fashion on 9/11. But as a result of that, of course, we also know that those 3,000 people who passed, that it was within their soul contract to be part of this unique revolution of energy on planet Earth, that where those two buildings stood like tuning forks for world mercantile wealth, the destruction of that meant that ground zero opened a huge portal that was predestined 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40,000 years ago during the end times of Atlantis.
Wow. It explains a lot. In my meditations, I've just been feeling such a heart opening, like the cosmic mind, cosmic heart, just this expansion. And a lot of that divine feminine energy that we spoke of the last time, just pouring in to just really crack us wide open. And it's been really, really deep. And I haven't been able to sleep. I haven't even told you because you haven't felt well. But I've been like, while I'm sleeping, like even before I go to bed and when I wake up, there's this smile on my face of just feeling the energy. It's very unique.
You know, the other thing that I want to say too, with, you know, when I go into meditation with, you know, it's interesting how you talk about the portal of ground zero. And what I've seen is like, that's an ocean of love. And everything I've been seeing of the love code is like, there's all these rivers and you're trying to find your way. And then all the rivers lead to this one giant ocean. And it's that ocean of love. And when you talk about that ground zero portal, that's exactly what I see. You know? So it's beautiful. You know?
You're coming back into a flow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there will be other portals in the United States of America that will open. And so the corruption that we've seen come so transparently to the forefront of our consciousness, both in terms of that is without and that is of our own healing. But I'm, you know, obviously referring to what we're seeing in the great corporate markets as being treacherous and corrupt, and also within central government, that this is the beginning of the end of all that we needed to learn by that, because, you know, you both and I have talked about this before, that whatever we see without is a mirror image of what's going on within. So rather than blaming and accusing, what we're doing is reviewing, as horrific as it may be, as disorientating as it may be, as untasteful as it may be, when we see the behaviors that are taking place, that actually it's a huge vision for us of, well, am I bringing insight and resolution into the process of my own life? And that it's all very well when things are free flow and full of love, but when shit hits the fan, how do we behave? And many of us behave really badly. And so it's time for us to start behaving well, with maturity and with love.
Very true.
That's why I think it's so important that we're coming together next weekend to do these 2 powerful days of really finding that inner voice and finding that love note or code. Because I truly know from going through a lot personally that we need to feel in order to heal. It's tremendous. And so we can't be pushing away anymore. And so being in a group setting of meditation and healing with that intention makes such a difference on the planet. And I think that what I'm seeing more and more is sometimes people are in so much pain that it's so easy to give up. And they don't realize that even their small prayer isn't small. It's doing such a huge, it's so significant to Mother Earth, to humanity. And so when we come together, it's even more magnified.
I hear you. I hear you. And it's, you know, one of the lines that Marianne Williamson is sharing with us at the moment is apropos what you've just said, that the the era of data collection is now over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've read all the books, and there will be, of course, many, many, many other unique and ingenious texts. But the point is, are we really living what the information is all about? And I dare say that my experience is that many of us are not living, as I travel around the world engaged in this work. You know, last weekend I was in Milano, speaking to, I think, probably well over 1,000 people at a Mind, Body, Spirit festival. I don't speak Italian, so I had a translator, but they invited me over, which was very kind of them. And it was quite fascinating to see that many of the people in front of me said, "But we know this," or "I know this." Okay, this is good that you know it.
Yeah, now let's bring it.
I have to defy you and say, I don't see you knowing it. I see you thinking it. It's just an idea. How can you say that? In typical Italian fashion.
Yeah, right, sure.
I said, because this is why you have this relationship that is full of problems. This is why you're constantly finding a great challenge in business. This is why your 2 children are not speaking to you. This is why your business partner has just betrayed you to the most extraordinary degree. There is nothing wrong with these things. They are just behaviors that have been created. And what we need to do is to see that if we're fully in love, there is no separation. And so we don't see the horror of poor behavior, whatever it may be, you know, in gross or in lesser form. So yes, so really our weekend is about examining how we can literally just immerse ourselves and soak in this ocean of love that Billy was talking about, isn't it? And you know, I'd love to know more about how you feel, having defined the love codes, how you feel that you can not only access them but then utilize for all of us.
Yeah, I find like love is a journey. So like when we come out of the womb, we have this oneness about us, you know, and like if you look, even when we're small toddlers and we just go up to people and just love them for who they are, because it's that you only see yourself in the other person. But then as we grow up, we create this barrier around our heart, you know, like that metal cage, and it's all these, and we create these locks. And that's, as you were talking about, then that's why you're having issues in your life. You're having issues with the job. You're having issues with relationships. And a lot of times we want to put all the emphasis on what people are doing to us, but what are you actually doing to yourself? You know what I mean? And if we can take everyone on a journey through the love code, is through meditation, and take them to a journey to awaken themselves. And how we would do that is we take you through temples, through Egypt. We could take you through crystal temples, and you're going to bask in the love of the gods and goddesses, bask in the love of the angels of Atlantis, and bask in the love of yourself. And if we can unlock one of those keys, you know, take that key and unlock one, just unlock one, the explosion that you can have. And as I always say, explosion, it's an explosion of love. And that's that ocean. And once you feel that ocean, you feel a sense of oneness. And if we can get back to the oneness of just seeing someone and seeing that's who I am, someone else, it could be of any race, any color, anything. If you could just look at them and say, that's me, that's what love is. And that's what we have to get back to, as you were saying. You know?
That's so beautiful. You know, I realize how much I missed hearing you speak, both of you.
Yeah. Reminds me of Egypt.
Yeah.
I get emotional because I keep seeing this stuff in my meditations. Every morning I do meditation. They just keep showing me, and they show it in a different way every time, but it always comes back to the same thing of just, why can't we just all love each other? Why is it so hard? You know, why? We all have our issues and everything, but I want to get there, and I want to help I want everyone to go on the journey with us. You know? And also, you know, the voice of love is going to be beautiful. And I want you to explain about the voice of love, but the voice of love and the love code, they intertwine with each other. Mm. And that's why, as Stewart had said, there's a reason why us three are together at this time, to open up those open up our own portals inside of us, and to expand that love.
Yes. Yes. And I feel that through all the information that I've received from the angels over the last 3 months about this event, and again, it's been 3 months, which is interesting because it started in December, on December 12 last year, when I was in Egypt with 26, 27 people on retreat and doing the retreat that we went on, the resurrection retreat. And when they started speaking to me, they were talking about the fact that there would be 3 major areas that would be awakened on our planet as a means to identify 3 very powerful areas within our own bodies. The one would be ground zero. The second would be Mount Shasta. And by the way, the ground zero energy also transmits all the way through the crystalline beds that exist from this point of Manhattan, the southerly point of Manhattan, all the way up through the northeastern seaboard, all the way to Canada. I mean, huge crystal beds that were placed there during the so-called end times of Atlantis, which was probably around 11, maybe 10,500 BC. And then, as I was saying, the whole substance of what's happening in Shasta and the Gulf states. So we have this crucible being created in this great, great continent, the Gulf states being along the lip, as it were, of the Gulf of Mexico. And again, vast sheets of tourmaline, vast sheets of amethyst, vast sheets of quartz crystal, etc., etc., etc. And they have been coded with very specific logarithms, with very specific light codes to awaken at this time. And just with this little bit of awareness, otherwise it moves into a lot of esoteric sort of history, but just with this little bit of awareness, we can allow ourselves to have just a wonderful, startled intake of breath. Oh my God, this is powerful. So that we actually move into wonder and awe about what's taking place. Wow. Yeah. So in other words, apropos what Billy was saying, that we're going to be creating our own temple in Manhattan on March 9th and 10th in the 2B studios.
Yeah, you sure are. That's right.
I love the fact that it's the 2B or not to be studio. And of course it's written 2 as a numerological symbol. But I just love the fact that, well, what do you wish to be? To be.
That's right.
Right.
That's great. I love that.
And I love to, I think one of the most important things that you said, Stewart, because I know for myself, sometimes we don't realize that just because we know something spiritual or some kind of spiritual principle, that we're embodying the teaching or that we're integrating it. So sometimes it's just so easy to have that cutoff. Like you were saying in Italy, they were like, well, I know this, but knowing it is just not enough, especially now. And so by having an actual experience through breathing, through chanting, through healing, through being immersed with others in a space is so important right now for us individually and collectively. So
it's difficult because it's really all about semantics, isn't it? I know this. And of course, we all know what that means when somebody or we ourselves say, I know this. I contest that, you see, and say, my experience of you, as beautiful and as wonderful as you are, no matter what state they're in, as beautiful and as wonderful as you are, suggests to me that you think it, that it's an idea. But when we know, the idea is supported by the experience of feeling. And when we feel, because feeling is the language of the soul, we suddenly radiate this force, which is the full embodiment of the notion, the idea of this is a remarkable weekend that we're moving into next weekend to experience very, very deep ways of healing, meaning moving back to wholeness. The ocean of love that Billy was talking about, so that we really feel the I am presence.
Right. And I think for a lot of people right now, there's a lot coming up, especially from the past. I've had tremendous things happening physically in my body. And then as a result of meditation and healing, been like things from like my childhood, things from past lives, really old wounds that have been coming up that I've had to personally really feel and heal, and then feel a difference in my physical body as a result. And then my clients or students, we like people are, you know, so I think that again, it's so important to whatever the personally each, you know, person's working on to, you know, allow the to be held in this space.
Yes, and I think that's one of the great intentions that we three have, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
What you just enunciated, what you just described, is something that I personally feel at the age of 66 has been going on all my life.
Yeah.
And then we reach very peak points, of course, where we go through the long dark night of the soul or soul meltdown. Unfortunately, we're all looking rather courageous and beautiful right now, so we're not going through meltdown. A lot of our brothers and sisters are. And, you know, the thing that I'm saying is that that's okay. It's part of the journey.
Yes.
And what we can do, the three of us, is hold the dear ones that are going through whatever their quandary, dilemma, sickness, ill-at-easeness is about. We can just hold them in that space and provide energetic experiential information, experience through meditation, through chanting, and through other practices that we can engage in as we reawaken the ancient mysteries of healing. So that that person will leave the day, the weekend, completely changed. And the change, I believe, will be sustainable. It won't just be a quick fix.
Absolutely.
What we can do is to get to the very cause, not just deal with the effect, but get to the very causation of what's taking place. As we heal that, our souls become much more in alignment with our 3D personalities. And thereby, I believe, we heal the soul of America.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So beautiful. You know, and I wanted to, the other thing that they were showing me, Stewart, is that we've really forgotten who we are. Like we're powerful, beautiful beings. You know, we're actually angels. And we've forgotten that we're actually angels, and we light up Mother Earth. We can light up the universe, actually. That's how powerful we are. You know, as you know, the beings above, they're actually, as you know, you have said this before, Stuart, they're actually in awe of us because we can do so much, but we've forgotten that we actually are able to do this because, you know, we've been taught that we can't do it. We've been taught from the outside that you're not allowed to do this, basically, but we can. And I think, like you said, this weekend is about awakening, and we do, Tina and I, we have an awakening symbol that actually we draw every day. And we're going to bring that to this weekend, and we're going to draw it in the room.
He received it in Egypt.
I did receive this awakening symbol in Egypt, and I have it. It's beautiful. And we do initiations where we draw it on people, and we draw it in the room. And it's going to be so powerful that it is going to awaken the soul. We want to awaken the heart, you know, as they call it, the golden heart. You know,
that's amazing. That's amazing.
So,
because, you know, that the very sheer practicality of what you've just shared, if we can use that symbol every morning as we awakened for the next day, by literally placing it against our hearts as well as seeing it visually, then something very huge happens. I know that that's something that I encourage. When I brought out the second oracle for the angels of Atlantis, the angel heart sigils, again, it feels like the geometry of what you're describing is a sigil.
yes.
If anybody's thinking, well, what's a sigil? A sigil is an ancient magical symbol that holds the essence of an entity. I have, here it is. I think I have. I brought with me some of my materials, much thumbed, just to give an illustration. Yeah, that's Gabriel. And in the orb of Gabriel is this geometry.
Yep.
Which you're talking about the symbol of awakening.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, well, that's actually Gabriel's heart.
Beautiful.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the fact that the
Absolutely.
angels have given us their hearts in these forms, and they're very, very powerful. I mean, as you know, I've been interfacing with female cancer for many, many, many years, and so I often take the sigils in, and the patients put the sigil against their heart, and they talk about an experiential difference immediately. They do it.
Right.
Beautiful.
And then, and then many of them go into remission. And then to say,
Wow.
a miracle has taken place. No, well, a miracle has taken place in the sense of the fact that they've decided to awaken
Right.
the notion of love. Whereas, as we know, cancer are rogue cells eating cells. So our cells are fighting one another. But if we can align through belief, faith, and trust.
Yeah.
So true. It's
We're
so
on
true.
something really important. As I was listening to you, I was just shuffling the first oracle of the Angels of Atlantis just to see, well, what are they saying about our conversation and what we're intending for next weekend. And the first card is Jophiel, the Angel of Liberation.
Wow.
And we get a double whammy because
Yeah.
the bald North American eagle is also symbol for the soul, the spirit, flying high. So we have the Angel of Liberation and the act of liberation. And so here are our souls wanting to fly. So that's the alpha. And then the omega, where we're going to end up, where we're going to end up
Where are we
is
going?
absolute abundance.
Beautiful.
Uriel.
And Uriel is the great companion.
Wow, that's
So
beautiful.
the angels want to befriend us, want to help us, want to be with us.
You know,
That's
it's
right.
interesting. I just posted an Insta story, and it was the first card.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yep. So it's like, whoo, I love it.
And
People,
the second card of Joe Fiel, you see abundance, and it's like the abundance. The ocean of love is just an abundance of whatever you want. You just have to go get it. You have to take it.
Yes.
It's yours.
Yes.
You have to go jump in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to say too, Stewart, people in the comments are saying that they feel cracked open right now, that even just by us speaking, he says, you've created water from my eyes. Thank you for helping to activate the healing process. That how amazing just by us talking about this, healing is transmitted. The heart opens. And, you know, what I love about symbols, the power of that the soul recognizes the symbol.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if we know the meaning or if we, you know, it's just the trust, the belief in the knowing that looking at it or embracing it or feeling it, the soul allows it to integrate and knows the language and the code.
That's right. You know what it is? Magic is real. Magic
Yes.
is love. And people just don't realize that it's not possible. Everything and anything is possible. You just have to believe. You have to believe in your magic.
Mm-hmm.
I had an experience of it when I arrived quite late in the city on Friday evening. Because when I arrived at this particular hotel, which of course will remain nameless, I walked into a room. It's a lovely hotel. I think we call them 5-star hotels. But the room was so cold. The bathroom was so cold. And so I called down and I said, I really can't stay in this room. And what I received was a great deal of concern about my mental state. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, so I don't know who I'm speaking to other than the fact that I'm talking to somebody called Rudy at the desk. So I'm going to come down and speak to you now. So I, just put my coat back on and made sure I had my room key and left my suitcase in the room and went down and said, okay, so now let's have a little conversation. The room upstairs is freezing cold. And I don't feel that I can sleep there. And so right now, this is a major care frontation. What I would love you to do is to give me the keys to another room. I haven't touched anything in the room and I will just move. Is that possible? And they said, well, I don't think we can possibly do that. I mean, really, it's against our protocol. And I said, but for me, And for this wonderful love that I'm sharing you, I know we can create absolute infinite possibility, miracles, miracles, miracles. So he very begrudgingly started going through on the computer, going through to see what was free. He said, well, we don't have a room of your status here. And I said, well, maybe you have a room of a higher status.
Right.
Willing to give me. And said, well, there is a suite. So I said, okay, so, well, shall I go and check it to see that it is warm?
Right.
So
that's beautiful.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Upgraded to a suite.
I love that you called it a carefrontation.
I call them carefrontations, yes.
That...
Confrontation is the thing of the past. Now it's all about carefrontation. You know? And of course, we all become frustrated. We all become irritated. We all become angry when things aren't going our way. You know, it's the 2 to 3 year old inside. That's why we've created Mr. Trump, because he shows us what it's all about. You know, throw the baby out with the bathwater. He throws all of the toys out of the pram. So we can see that, well, that doesn't work. So what do I need to use? Well, I'm going to use love. Yeah, I'm going to use carefrontation.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works, isn't it? It's just so amazing.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, of course, in the workshop, The Voice of Love, is to show everybody how they can really be in their note, rather than getting really upset so that we can actually begin to rearrange the status of our flow if we're not in flow, and therefore achieving all of the things that the universe wants us to achieve, including abundance, which of course is even greater fun, even greater joy, and even greater love. And if that means that you have 2 credit cards and you want to go and buy a wonderful pair of shoes at Prada or Gucci, why not? If it means that with some of that due diligence, that we're looking after our brothers and sisters by providing money for charity, why not?
Right.
You know, I mean, my digital specialist, who's helping me at the moment to plan what it's like when I bring out my next book, which is about the last 2 years of Diana's life when I worked with her and what we did together to help her empower. He said, you know, why don't we take the first chapter of the book and digitalize it at a certain price, and 25% of that money, you know, if it's online for, I don't know, $7, $8, $9, or $10, and that 25% of that money immediately goes to a charity. How do you feel about that? And of course, I immediately started to weep. It was, how do I feel about it? I think it's absolutely amazing. This is what I absolutely believe in. This is sacred commerce. It's actually finding a way of being able to utilize our own God-given creativity gifts and really receiving the bounty of the universe, but then giving some of it back to people that maybe are less fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and it doesn't have to be money. It can be love. You know, it's like three street people that I walked past on Fifth Avenue yesterday, and they said, "Can you give me money? Can you give me money?" And I could see that if I gave them money, they would automatically go somewhere to buy stuff to shoot up in their arms. You know, and I said, "Well, actually, I don't think I can give you money, but I'd love to give you a blessing. Is that okay?" And they both looked so surprised.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like, what?
Okay. Now, all you have to do is breathe deeply and be at peace in the energy of what we're doing. And I'm just going to hold my hand up and share energy with you, which will be a blessing. They received it and they said, "Oh my God, this is amazing. Nobody's ever done that before. This is amazing." And, you know, they felt better and I felt better. So getting back into the ocean of love.
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
so beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Just even having that intention, just when I'm driving or walking, I'm always just kind of throwing love, just seeing it from my heart go out. Yeah. And I know in my Kundalini yoga classes, the end of every class, we're sending that love, those love beams out. And then how beautiful on our weekend, next weekend, we'll be using breath, mantra, visualization, heart to just anchor it in a whole new way.
Yeah, yeah. So can you share with us just a little bit of what you feel the topography of your day will be? And of course, I will be there as well. So it's our day, but you're going to be leading that.
Yeah. Well, we'll be going through meditations. And that will be the journey, as we had talked about earlier when we were talking, is we're going to journey you through like the past and the present, and we're going to get you into the past, which going through journeys of temples, and they're the temples of your soul. So and they might be all look different, and they might be, like I said, crystal temples. And what this is going to do is this is going to unlock the heart chakra, and it's going to keep unlocking. There might be like 3 meditations. There'll be transmissions. There is going to be the awakening symbol, where that will be drawn on each person who's there. And what that's going to do is that awakening symbol is going to awaken you to love, and awaken you to your soul's purpose, awaken you to who you truly are.
Yeah, it's really going to be a dance, so that it's not just sitting and meditating.
Right.
Will be breath work and, and a little bit of chanting, but there's also us going around and doing some healing, an opportunity to share, obviously working with the angels, the goddesses, the guides, and so that we're coming in and out of processes, techniques, meditations, to just really have, each person gets to have their own unique experience.
Yeah, we'll be doing a healing technique on everyone that's called unlocking the heart chakra. And it's really, really powerful. And, obviously you have to be there to experience it. And just talking about it, I start to feel it. But unlocking the heart chakra and the awakening symbol, and taking you on this journey to the ocean of love, because that's the end result where we want to go. We want to go to the ocean of love. And we are going to go there. As Stewart said, we're going to get there, and we're going to be there. And that is going to open up everything for all of us as a whole, as one.
And I just want to say one quick thing for people that cannot make it to New York. Thursday night, we are doing a webinar. It's just obviously a smaller version of it, because a little taste of it. But we had people say, oh, I can't make it. So we were like, okay, let's do a webinar. So if people are interested, I'll put a link somewhere. But you, Stewart, tell us about Sunday, Voice of Love.
Yeah, it's a reminder, because yesterday I received several emails from people saying, I can't be there, but can you stream the weekend? Yeah. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. That people want.
A lot of people do that. Yeah.
Geographically move to Manhattan from the East Coast, from the West Coast, or wherever they may be around the world. And so I thought that was really beautiful. Unfortunately, the day will not be streamed because it requires an investment in technology.
True.
That's something that we can look into in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. We are going to be doing that. We have to learn a little bit more.
Yeah. And of course, it's easier to do it online with a webinar, isn't it, rather than to move into a full-scale workshop, so that everybody knows. It's wonderful, that my own personal circumstances, people say, well, can I come? And yeah, but I mean, unfortunately, you will need, well, fortunately for me, you'll need to pay a fee. Here we are as healers moving around the world, and the only way that we can move around the world is if we use conventional commercial airlines and so forth, and all of this requires money. So eventually the money will be so abundant that everything will be really, really cool. I know it's something that Marianne talked to me about. I should be streaming much more. Anyway, so the day for me is going to be, as always, a day of immense discovery. Are we really using the song of our soul to achieve the statuses that we wish to achieve in the world? And of course, what's interesting, always having taught this for many, many, many years, that often when that question is asked, people say, well, I'm not using the song of my soul. So we go into a very gentle, non-invasive inquiry into, well, why is that so? And in other words, what are the impedimenta, or what are the obstacles that are getting in the way of literally being in flow, moving towards the great ocean of the infinite possibility, that we're from the source, and the source is an infinitely unfolding, creative possibility full of love and joy. And so it's finding ways of getting back into flow. And for me, it starts with breath, because our breath is the key and the door to the whole process. That if we're breathing, we're in flow. And here we are, the very first independent action that we achieve as we shoot out of our mother's birth canals is to go, and then the last thing we achieve before we move back into source is to breathe out. And in between, we completely ignore our breath.
Right.
So I'm really interested in finding ways through all sorts of different experientials of allowing people to feel absolutely harmonized by using breath and then by using sound, using their voices, through chant, through toning, to move back into an infinite and wonderful state of rest.
It's beautiful.
And there are a series of teachings that I want to provide everybody with that the angels have given me, but they're all going to be revealed on the day.
Yes, so you have to register, and we'll just make a quick announcement. If you register for both, we're giving $50 off. So again, if you're interested, I'll put links somewhere when this is done.
So Saturday's $150. If you just do Sunday, it's $150 with Stewart. If you do both, it's $250 for Saturday and Sunday. And if to register,
come to both. Please come to both.
Please come to both. And that's all right. So let's talk about that. These, like we said before, these do intertwine with each other. And to really get the full energy of love that we all need, is if you go to Saturday and Sunday, you're going to experience something that you've never experienced before. That's what I could say. And that's that oneness of love, the ocean of love, the voice of love, right? And also opening up your love code. They all go together. There's a reason that we're all together right now. There's a reason why it's March 9th and 10th. There's a reason for everything. So please join us. Please come to both.
I'm putting a link in the comments.
It will be magnificent.
With the info, and they can put a deposit down, pay cash at the door, or just let us know.
It on there. Okay, great. Awesome. Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, this was beautiful.
Thank you. And I will be, we're all three of us putting tremendous amount of information out through all social media channels.
Yes.
So, absolutely. I invite everybody just to be awake to that. And you want to, most of the people that are listening in or watching us right now are very familiar with your social media channels. Is there any point, do you feel that you need to identify them?
Well, we could. On my business page, it's Angel Tina Marie 444 on the Facebook handle, so they can find information that way. It just says Angelic Channel and Soul Guide. On Instagram, we're on there as well. And I guess that's the main two.
What's it called on Instagram?
Probably Tina Marie 444, the actual handle. So either Angel Tina Marie 444 or Tina Marie 444. Right. They'll be able to find me and either message me, and I'll be on it all week to make sure I get back with information. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And for me, people can find me on Facebook. Like you, I have two pages. So there's the public figure page.
Yeah.
I think you call it the business page, which is called Stewart Pearce, the legendary sound healer, I think my PA did. And then there's a more public, a more private page. But what I do is I share very equally, which is called Stewart Pearce. Twitter, the same, Stewart Pearce. And then Instagram is Stewart Pearce, the voice on Instagram. And before leaving the United Kingdom on Wednesday, Thursday, I quickly shot a very short minute take on the voice of love. I just did it very quickly with my videographer.
I saw it. It's wonderful.
So I look really good. I'm so pleased.
You do.
Wasn't his camera. There was a sort of history to that statement because he had one camera.
Say you looked really handsome because he looks fantastic.
I did.
Yeah. Oh, did you? Oh, thank you. Because he had a camera before that, bless him. I looked like Methuselah. I said, we can't have any of this. It's supposed to be an embodiment of light and beauty and abundance. I look haggard and hackneyed and horrific. So can we do something about it? So I was rather pleased with that. And, there's a lot of really gentle information being communicated. Yeah. So come along, people. And see.
Oh, one last thing. I know you're doing soul readings while you're here, and I know you do them over Skype. We too are offering a special for like a love code session for a special rate. So I'll put that in the link too. And then do you have any slots open for your
it's pretty booked up already, actually. Yeah, it's been quite a feat to try and organize. My PA has been working very hard to sort of organize people here and there, and not just people within this particular community, but worldwide audience. But yeah, there are some spaces that I've kept for Manhattanites.
Okay, wonderful.
Manhattanites. I mean, people that live in the tri-state area, whatever, who want to come, and that can be in person or it can be online. A lot of people say, "Oh, I want it to be in person," and you know, I once upon a time I would say, "Yes, I want it to be in person as well," but actually, you know, I spend most of my time online, and it really works well. I feel as though there's an immediate embrace through cyberspace.
Yeah.
That it's very permissible to allow these rays of energy, these love rays, to be communicated. So I would say, you know, if you can't necessarily get to the workshops, then have a session with Tina Marie and Billy, or with me.
Absolutely.
And have it online.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'll supply links and share it away.
All
well,
right.
thank you, Stewart, so much.
Yep. Thank you, Stewart.
We look forward to seeing you.
Please join
in
us.
person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Voice of Love, Stewart Pearce. Love Code, Tina Marie.
And Billy Rockcamp. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day.
Namaste, namaste, namaste.
Yes.
Love,
and
love, love.
Satnam. And